And so when I say Chinese, I want you to scream out the nation that's associated with this. For example, if I say Chinese, you're going to say what?
China.
All right, let's say it with authority. When I say Chinese, you say what? China. All right, that's just a test right there. So here we go. Chinese.
China.
Russian.
Russia.
Italian.
Italy.
German.
Germany.
Swedish.
Sweden.
Korean.
Korea.
Egyptian.
Egypt.
Nigerian.
Nigeria.
Black.
Exactly. Nothing. Tell him, Pastor. Tell him, Pastor. Black, nothing.
I hope you were able to successfully identify the issue.
The lion won't sleep tonight. The lion won't sleep tonight. 'Cause we woke now, and we woke now. I said the lion won't sleep tonight. 'Cause we woke now, and we woke now. They want us to sell our souls to barter profit. Like God's property, it's hard to market. So we steady to aim, keep your eyes on target. Cause when you got to drive, yeah, they'd rather you park it. But I don't valet, you ain't getting these keys. I'm keeping closed hands, I'm on bended knee. I'm just a reflection, dealing with 8 sections. Art mixed with life, you can feel the convection. Your lion won't sleep tonight. 'Cause we woke now, and we woke now. I said the lion won't sleep tonight. 'Cause we woke now, and we woke now. I said
The same people that have stripped us of our identity and labeled us as a color have told us what it means to be black and the vernacular that we're supposed to have.
Well, did you accept that black people? You accepted that black people are Jew, or
No,
you're
but
not
no.
accepting that idea?
I'll come to that in a moment.
The entire Bible is about black people. Not only was Jesus black, but every character in the Bible seems to be black too. Yeah, Zephaniah and Jeremiah and Jebediah, those all aren't white people names, okay? And Jesus wasn't some tan, partially melanated Middle Eastern person either. I'm talking straight up black dude, okay? Even in the book of Revelation, when you get the vision of Daniel, he's describing someone with feet like burnt brass and white woolly hair, and we've got the deep running water voice with the red eyes, and you guys, he's black. The Jewish people are black people, like Kanye was right.
Planned Parenthood was made by Margaret Sanger, a known eugenics with the KKK, to control the Jew population. When I say Jew, I mean the 12 lost tribes of Judah, the blood of Christ, who the people known as the race black really are.
Hitler was, and the Nazis, of course, expanded on Margaret Sanger's approach to eugenics, right? Eugenics was a movement that was born in the United States under hard doctrines of racism with the intent of eliminating the tribe of Judah in the African-American community in this country, right? To eliminate them.
We're finishing now part 2, chapter 2. And what we've said so far is that people have free will and their actions are, some are good and some are evil. And by the way, the Rambam writes explicitly that everyone has some good actions and some bad actions. Everyone. And he takes it for granted that there'll be a variety. We talked about the fact that this world and the next world are asymmetrical. The next world is where the majority of a person's actions, which determine his identity, are compensated. For the righteous, they exist in the world to come and they're rewarded. And for those whose major complexion is black, are excluded from the world to come.
And you know what else, Jim? I just want to say this to our Christian friends, just to call it as it is and say it straight out, you guys are worshiping one Jew. That's a mistake. You should be worshiping every single one of us because we all die for your sins every single day. And that's exactly what's going on here. Yeah. We're all God's firstborn, and we're dying for your sins right now because the Jewish people in the land of Israel are the bulwark against the orcs. Mm-hmm. Okay? The orcs are coming not to a theater near you, but to your home.
You know what you are? You're an ancient Israelite. Ancient Israelite, that's who we are. That's who we are. So if you give me time, if you give me time, but already he said, I know. We don't have so many years. I know. Look at this. This is pages and pages of notes. And I promise we'll give more teaching. But here is my challenge to you. All right. I'm hearing some of your traditions. It's like the days of the Bible. Yes. Do you want to remain ancient Israelites or you want to be Jews? Stranger danger! Stranger danger! Stranger danger! Stranger danger!
Genesis chapter 11 verse 10 explains the genealogy of Shem. Shem was a black man in Africa. If you repeat this fact, they can't laugh at you. If you repeat this fact, they can't laugh at you. If you repeat this fact, they can't laugh at you.
I want to say peace and blessings to you guys. Apologies, had my mic muted by accident. Just realized that it was muted. But I hope and pray all is well with you guys. And, we got a lot to cover. But at the same time, we want to, keep it simple. Lots going on, right? There's a lot going on. Organized confusion. Hope and pray that you guys that honor the Shabbat. I pray that you guys had a blessed Shabbat. Say it again. Hope and pray that you guys had a very blessed Shabbat. We had a great time. We had a great Shabbat. Lots going on though, family. A lot is going on. And, what I'm going to do here is, I'm going to share a couple of clips with you. I'll drop the link inside the comment section. And I'm going to kind of open have an open, dialogue tonight, for those that want to come and share your thoughts, your reactions to what's going on right now with the whole uh, Renee Nicole Good shooting by ICE. Have you guys saw the video? And if you saw the video, if you saw the, if you're up to speed with what's going on, type one. But if you saw it, and you want to share your thoughts on it, I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna open up the mic tonight, kind of have an open dialogue. Only thing I ask is just be respectful of the channel, because things are being flagged. They are flagging the channel, and just want to make sure that when you guys come on, that you're not saying things that's going to jeopardize the platform. All right. Now, I will say that with what you know took place, I saw the video, and I saw the camera angle from the ICE guy, and I'm going to tell you, pay attention to the details, family. I'm going to share a few clips right now, and then we're going to discuss it, and I'm going to give you a scripture that I want to kind of allow that to be our foundation for tonight. All right, let me go ahead and play the couple of clips here, so that way you guys could that are not familiar with it, you could get up to speed with what's going on. Let's see here. All right, and I know the thumbnail probably have a couple of trolls based off of it. Live by lynching, die by lynching. Right, that's the thumbnail. Right, and not pulling any punches on that, and I'll explain why I came up with that thumbnail. Here we go.
We have new video tonight, a new angle of the deadly shooting. We are also learning more about the ICE agent who killed Renee Nicole Good. CBS LA's Tom Waite joining us now with the very latest. Tom.
Yeah, some more information, too, about kind of the tactics that ICE is supposed to use in these situations. We'll get into that in just a second, Pat. The Trump administration is fiercely defending the ICE agent at the center of this, but use of force experts that we talked to tonight are raising questions about the incident. Newly released cell phone video obtained by CBS News for the first time shows the ICE agent's point of view and what are likely Renee Good's last words.
Fine, dude. I'm not mad at you.
The agent, who appears to be filming this with his cell phone, approaches the car. Her car is blocking traffic. He circles around to the driver's side.
That's fine. U.S. citizen.
As Good's wife, who is also filming, tries to get inside the car, other officers rush toward the driver's side door.
Out of the car. Get out of the
Good seems to try to back up and then drives forward just before the same agent fires his gun in his right hand.
That's fine, dude. I'm not mad at you. Show your face. I'm not mad at you. That's okay. We don't change our plates every morning, just so you know. It'll be the same plate when you come talk to us later. That's fine. U.S. citizen. You want to come at us? I say go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Out of the car. Get out of the car. Get out of the car.
Whoa!
We are told this video came from Jonathan Ross's cell phone. He is the ICE agent accused of shooting Renee Good. At the start, you can see Ross is in front of the stopped vehicle. Good then speaks to Ross through that open window saying, quote, "That's fine, dude. I'm not mad at you." As Ross walks around the SUV, the victim's wife confronts him while holding a cell phone. Then another agent is heard ordering Good to get out of the car. That is when she turns the steering wheel and pulls forward.
Meantime, across the nation, demonstrators are hitting the street this weekend to protest ICE. This was the scene outside of the White House where the rain didn't deter the protesters from gathering. A coalition of advocacy groups say more than 1,000 ICE Out for Good protests are scheduled this weekend, calling for ICE to leave local communities. They come as outrage continues to grow over the fatal shooting of Renee Good by an ICE agent in Minneapolis. The Trump administration has defended the ICE agent, saying he feared for his life and shot Good in self-defense. State and local officials have disputed that claim. State officials say the Justice Department has blocked state investigators from participating in the probe into the shooting. Meantime, President Trump suggests the protesters on the scene where the woman was shot and killed by an ICE officer in Minneapolis Wednesday were paid agitators.
I watched that yesterday, and there are a lot of different forms to it. But there was a woman screaming, "Shame, shame, shame, shame." She was a agitator, probably a paid agitator, but in my opinion, she was an agitator, a very high-level agitator, so professional. She wouldn't stop screaming. I said, this isn't a normal situation. This is a professional troublemaker.
Now, family, there's so much to unpack. Now, you guys, many of you guys are familiar with the Constitution. And what makes the United States, right, different from most countries, right, is that you have the freedom of speech, whether you like it or not, whether you are an extreme racist, whatever the case may be, you have the freedom of speech. Now, if you listen to what the commander-in-chief has stated, he's trying to state that because this person is having some choice words to the ICE person, that this person is an extreme agitator. Notice the words they use, agitator. Initially, she was called a terrorist. She was called a terrorist. And I'm here to tell you, family, don't get fooled by that camera, by the ICE agent. He did not get hit by the car. He had gun in one hand and a cell phone in the other, not a body cam. Let me say that again. Not a body cam. He had a gun in one hand and he had a cell phone in the other hand. And what you heard was the cell phone. You didn't hear him getting hit by the car. And even when you see it from a different angle, he did not get hit by the car. Had he gotten hit by the car, you know this administration will be showing medical records. And some of you guys that are familiar with gun, how as far as the rules of engagement, you guys know what I'm talking about. There's no way in proper training you hold to a gun with one hand and a cell phone on the other. That's not proper. Let me say this. I see someone saying this is not our fight. And I'm going to say this. It affects all of us. We can't put our head in the sand and not discuss these things. We're not, I'm not going out here protesting. I'm not going out here standing on any corners. But we need to discuss this. Certain things I discussed here over a year ago, and people were posting, and I'm not throwing anything at you, but people made posts like that when I was showing clips of and stating how this commander-in-chief, thief, before he became president, how he was going to do exactly what he's doing right now, the purge to come directly at our community. What you see happening, we've already been dealing with that for hundreds of years. And that's why I have Deuteronomy 30 up on the screen. So no one's going out here fighting for anyone, but we have to discuss these things. Why? Because if that is what's going to happen to someone from his own community, imagine what would happen to us. Let me say this. That whole procedure was off. She showed no aggression towards them. If she was trying to run him over, she would not have turned her tires away from him. Now, from what I understand on this guy, he was in a different situation, had his arm inside the car, getting in, trying to get in front of a car. Someone pulled off and he put his arm inside the car, and the person drove off. I saw the video clip, and he drug him for about 100 feet. Now, if you already been in a situation like that, why would you place yourself in that same position again? Come on, man. Come on, family. Don't fall for the okie doke. But what we're seeing is a playbook. And what is that playbook? Remember what happened to George Floyd. That's why you have his image on here. I couldn't play some of the videos because I had to think about it. When I played those videos, they were striking my channel. They was doing all kinds of restrictions on my channel. When I played his video, when I played Ahmaud Arbery, when I played some of the other videos out there, they was restricting my channel. But we've been dealing with this. What's his name? Tamar Rice. All of those people, with the exception of the police officers with George Floyd, but Breonna Taylor, a number of people, got off. Amadou Diallo. We could continue. We got a long list of situations, assaults, murders, that they didn't even take it beyond the grand jury. But what do? The playbook is to demonize, right? That's what they would do. I'm gonna see if I can find this Huffington Post article, because I had a presentation on that in the past, when I showed how the system is set up is they demonize us in public opinion, right? Remember Mike Brown, right? The guy in St. Louis who was shot, hands up, run in the back. They demonized him in public opinion. That's what they do. Come on, man. Even a security guard got away with murder. Even a security guard got away with murder. It was just situation after situation after situation after situation. And remember this, family. Whenever, with the Black Lives Matter marches, because what really began to build up to protests is because you had the shooting, 2 shootings that occurred down in South Carolina, far as at the church, and also the shooting down in South Carolina with a guy was shot in the back because he was running from the police, gunned down like an animal. Then you had the guy that was, I can't remember where he's located at, but he was in his car, right? Let the police know that he had a weapon in his car, being very respectful. Police officer asks him for his ID, and he tells him that he had to get his ID. He had to reach for it. And what happened? He got shot anyway. Walmart, guy in the Walmart get gunned down in the toy section. The brother man, right, protecting one of his one of the people that he cared for, who was dealing with all kinds of mental issues, gets shot trying to protect one of his guys that was having a meltdown in the street. There's so many situations. My own relative, actually, Eric Garner. I'm related to Eric Garner, who was murdered over cigarettes, choked to death. Come on, family. And I'm gonna say this. I see Come on, guys. Let's not go there. What I'm gonna say this to this individual. What difference does it make if George Floyd was a Mason or not? What difference does that make? What difference does it make if George Floyd was he was a Freemason or not? He was killed, murdered, broad on broad daylight in front of everyone saw it. I saw it. I had the video on it. What sense does that make? What is this? And trust me, I don't rock with the Freemasons and all that stuff. But what does that have to do with the price of tea in China? What does George Floyd, if he was a Mason, what does that have to do with him being murdered, choked to death, knee to the back of his neck? What does that have to do with anything? Doesn't matter. Come on, family. Let's not get into the weeds. That's getting into the weeds and discussions we shouldn't even allow to be inserted or injected into this discussion, because then you start having this these conversations as if he had it coming to him. He was the cause of his own death. Come on, family. We're not going to do that over here. Doesn't matter about what tattoos he had. Doesn't matter if he was a Freemason. Doesn't matter. That has nothing to do with anything. And trust me, if he was a Freemason, there's other things that comes with the territory. But anyway, come on, y'all. Don't get into that stuff. We don't do that over here. Let's not bring that stuff over here. I'm not into that conspiracy stuff. Moderators, you guys know what to do. We don't do that stuff over here. If you guys want to get into all the weeds with that whole Freemason stuff, y'all can take that elsewhere. I teach against Freemasonry, got plenty of videos on it, but we're not going to, every time something happened, oh, it's the Boule, it's the Freemasons, it's XYZ. If anything, talk about the fraternal order of the police department. If you want to deal with secret society, start with the fraternity, the fraternal order of the police department. Don't start with this Freemason stuff. Start with the fraternal order of the police department. That's a fraternity. That is a spinoff of the Freemasons. So if he was a Freemason, as some of you will try to run with, then he would have been protected by what? The fraternal order of the police, because the fraternal order of police was created from the Freemasons. The star is pretty much identical to the Eastern Star. Come on, family. If you're gonna go there, at least know the fullness of what you're talking about when it comes to that stuff. And I'm not saying this out of disrespect. The fraternal order of police, that is a fraternity. Period. Look it up. Look it up. So my point that I want to get back over here with, let's get back over here. Let me read the scripture. I'll drop the link inside the chat here. But let me just highlight the scripture real quick. And I'll drop the link inside the comment section. And if you guys want to respond to it, go for it. All right. Let me see here. Let me minimize this here. All right. Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 7 and 8. Let me say that again. Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 7 and 8. And Yahweh thy Elohim will put all these curses upon thine enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuteth thee. And thou shalt return and obey the voice of Yahweh and do all his commandments, which I command thee this day. Let me say that again. And we really want to just hone in on verse 7. And Yahweh, thy Elohim, will put all these curses upon thine enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuteth thee. In a nutshell, you live by the sword, you're going to what? Die by the sword. Now, regardless of this woman's history, because when you start seeing the playbook with the media, the propaganda machine, I know how they go. We all know how they roll, right? They'll start demonizing the person, public opinion, right? A court of public opinion. But she was murdered, period. She was murdered. But guess what? How many times has that playbook has been played out on our people, carried out on our people? Our narrative always got hijacked. When Black Lives Matters was really at the height with all the protesting, you had White Lives Matter, you had Blue Lives Matter. Remember that, family? When you go back and look at in the 60s, the 70s, when we started embracing the theme of Black Power, or I'm black and I'm proud, right? But Black Power, guess what? They came up with White Power. It was always something that they would use to counter what we have going on. Then now the thing that's going on is DEI. DEI create this illusion that it was our community that was benefiting from DEI. Now, guess what? They made a special DEI for the 1948ers. And we already know that the Caucasian woman, the Caucasian man, is at the top of the list of benefiting from DEI. But they had to put our face at the forefront. But we just said what? Enough is enough. We're tired of the foolishness. Are you guys in agreement with that? Just tired of the foolishness. Don't want to deal with this foolishness anymore. We're not showing up to the marches. You may have a couple of us sprinkled, here and there, but overall, we're through with it. We through with it. So I'm going to drop the link. And if you guys want to jump in and share your thoughts as far as your reactions, give your reactions to the situation that just occurred, I'm going to drop the link. And while I do that, I'm going to look for this Huffington Post article inside one of my presentations, and I will post it. Let me see here. Let's see if it's in this one. All right, so just drop the link here. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I got to find that article. I got to find that presentation overall. Yeah, I haven't touched these presentations in quite some time. That's why it's kind of hard for me to find some of them. Let me see here. All right. Let me see here. All right. See Berean Scholar in the building. Let me bring him in. Let me say shout outs to you, my brother. Berean Scholar in the building.
Peace and blessing, brother. Peace and blessing.
All right. How you doing? How you doing tonight?
Doing well on this, ending up this wonderful Sabbath. Had a good time with the family. I was looking for this topic you was bringing up tonight, it's disappointing seeing some of the comments in the comment section, because we have to have a broader view of what happened around us, because just like you said, what's happening in this country will affect us. If America has a sneeze, we're gonna come down to pneumonia. So it's gonna reflect heavy on us. So if they can get away with that with her, that they want to be able to do martial law and get away with it on a larger scale.
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's the thing is that, um, when things happen, it's pretty much like a dress rehearsal on what's coming down the pike to our community.
Yes.
And and that's why I just never got with that thing of, that's their fight, not ours. And it doesn't mean we're trying to fight for anyone. We have to be aware of what's going on.
We're called
And
to be aware. We're called to be wise.
exactly, because there's a lot going on, family. I mean, a lot going on. There's so much going on. It's pretty much it's hard to keep up with.
And
Every time you turn around, something else is a new thing.
you said it before. They flooding the zone with a lot of chaos and confusion, and that's part of this Babel system, confusion.
Yeah, yeah. And they are definitely doing that, family. They are, I mean, they flooding the zone big time. And we just can't focus on the minors. And what I mean by that, even what we were dealing with just now, with the George Floyd, making mention to him. And what's interesting is the shooting that occurred with what's the name, Reese Good, was not too far from where Floyd was murdered.
Wow. But just another community.
Yeah.
Wow.
And family, we cannot put our heads in the sand. We have to stay alert with everything that's going on, with what's happening in Africa, because I heard a lot of our brothers and sisters saying, hey, whatever's going on in Nigeria, let whatever's going on over there go on over there. We have to focus on what's happening over here. Now, it has an effect, no matter how you look at it. Like a year ago when they were dealing with the when Donald Trump was dealing with Nigeria, dealing with the Congos, and the things that they were saying about the Haitians, and it was unfortunately we saw many people from our community that's supposed to be FBAs or whatever they call it, and yeah, FBAs, Foundational Black, right? Um, they were, stating that, hey, the Haitians, they own their own basically. All these other groups are on their own. I'm like, when it's all said and done, we all look alike.
Exactly.
We all look alike. And what I mean by that, because we are all from the same groups. We just they just dropped us off at different ports from those slave ships. The Haitian people are the same as us.
You know,
Trinidad, Jamaica, we're the same people. It's
that's
just
right.
that
That's
again,
right.
we were dropped off at different ports.
And when you have this situation like this with this young lady, and everybody had video cameras to see what happened, more than one angle. That's the third angle. I've seen three angles. A person who was trying to administer aid, the angle that most people saw, and the angle that it came from the gentleman holding the gun in his phone. And you have our leaders telling us exactly opposite what our eyes saw.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's the
and
type
that's
of
what they're telling you. You
propaganda.
didn't see what you see. What's that? The
Exactly. That's
Wizard
the
of
type of
Oz?
propaganda you need to be worried about.
Don't pay attention to the man behind the camera
That's the
or
type of
behind the
propaganda
curtain, rather.
you need to be worried about, because that's going to be even more on our end.
Yeah, yeah. Let me see. I see someone in the back. Let me bring them out here real quick. All right. All right. Want to say peace and blessings, Mike. Got you out here. Saw you in the back. I'm sure you have a reaction to the discussion. What's your thoughts?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
My thoughts are we need prayers. Okay. There's, a movement on the earth that we know that the authorities are participating in. That's why they're in their positions. We are seeing the Club of Rome being built and 10 kings of perdition being made and some being put in position. The thing that we have to do is what the Lord asks us to do, is make, uh, uh, to spread the word to the four corners of the world and to teach our brothers and sisters the word. What is going on is they're taking us away from this and having us discuss about things that we cannot change.
Got you, got you. And this is where I am with that. We definitely teach prayer here. And remember when Job was going through the different things that he was going through, and the Most High told Job to get up off his knees and start taking action. Didn't tell him to stop praying, but there comes a point in time we have to our works, our walks have to be in alignment with what we're praying about.
Exactly.
If I want to, let's just say, a new job, I still have to do certain things to put me in that position of that job. You know what I mean? We still have to prepare. So, and I definitely agree with you because we're currently going through our 3-week prayers, 3-week fasting, and because of everything that we see, and I'm sure you agree, it's like we're just seeing a daisy chain of situation after situation after situation, and to your point, is going to what it's to get us in a state of confusion, like we would call organized confusion, to where you're constantly trying to play catch up instead of being proactive. You get into a reactive
Exactly.
position, so that means that you're always at a advantage. So I definitely agree with you, though. We definitely prayer, and remember what Christ said. He said, "This spirit," because we're dealing with some serious spirits. He said, "This spirit can only be addressed by what? Prayer and
Prayer and
fasting."
fasting. Amen.
And that's Matthew chapter 17, verse 21. So uh, prayer, we have to communicate with the Father. Fasting, we have to what? Deny ourselves, deny our flesh, in terms of certain things we want to do. You know what I mean? I'm sure certain things you want to do and certain ways you want to react.
I
But we
fight
have
the
to what?
flesh.
Yeah, we have to cast it to the Most High and let the Most High direct us on how we should respond and what we should do.
Amen. And
Hallelujah.
that can only be done through learning your scripture, writing it on your heart.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You hit it on a nail, because if you don't know the word, how can you even try someone else's spirit? And there's a lot of people that are using the word to justify agendas.
Right.
Right. So what you pointed out exactly, and that's what we do here. That's what we teach. That you have to know the word. If you don't know the word, you can't not truly discern with what's going on around us. And there's so much that's going on, and I mean, I believe that we're in the 2-minute warning when it comes to the prophecies.
Yes.
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 You
Yes.
know, and it seems as if, and I'm sure you guys can agree, that things have been sped up.
Yes, the birth pains, excuse me for cutting in, I'm sorry. The birth pains are intensifying and there less time in between them. It's definitely. I'd like to say that first time I'm here. I find this this channel very attractive. As I'm a believer, I don't put myself under any category except for Christian, which I think this movement that we are seeing is the Roman Catholic Church trying to infiltrate Christianity.
Now, this is my take, and this is my belief, and I want to share with you. I believe we have to let go of all religions.
Yes.
Whether it's Christianity, whether it's Catholicism. When we go right down the list, and when you study the scriptures, none of these so-called Abrahamic faiths, Abraham never created. Christ himself never practiced. And so religion, the system of men, and we could tie that into the fourth beast. That's been the issue. That's been the issue when we look at Christianity, and especially from my community. We were enslaved by Christianity, we were enslaved by Catholicism, we were enslaved by Judaism, we were enslaved by Islam. All of those Abrahamic faiths came together and said it was okay to enslave our people and considered us to be less than human. So we can have Christ without these religious systems. You know what I'm going at with, when you're in the church, the way that, if you leave a church, go into another church or whatever the case may be, they demonize you on the way out as if you're leaving Christ. And the biggest delusion that we have, or that we are up under, is the notion that if we walk away from these man-made religions, that we're leaving the Father, Son, and we're leaving the Spirit of Yah. And that's the furthest thing from the truth.
When I said Christianity, I look at the verse that says Christianity was first taught in Damascus. I'm not saying man's religion, because religion is man-made. The word of God is not man-made. It is man-given, given to the holy men that were inspired by the Holy Ghost.
Yeah. And just one thing to give clarity, they were called Christians, right? In Antioch. And this is where I'm going to the deeper understanding of that word. Christianity, or Christian, actually means, it comes from two words, Christos, Ianos, which means slave of Christ, right? And that word wasn't used as a complimentary. It was a word that was used as a name. It was colloquialism. It wasn't anything complimentary about it. So again, what Paul even referred to himself is, and is noted in Acts, as being a follower of the way. And I'd rather be called the follower of the way. I'd rather be called friend than any of these. And I'm not knocking you, but for me, I used to call myself a Christian. I used to be in Christianity, and I let go of all those labels. I would rather, just like Paul, be called a follower of the way, just like
Amen.
how Christ said
Amen.
he's a follower of the way. And we don't see the word Christian written in any of Paul's letters. And I'm not knocking you for that, but I just believe that we just got to let go of all those titles. And when we
I'd
let
like
go
to
of those titles, man, we can really embrace the fullness of the truth.
I'd just like to bring Paul to Saul to focus, because Saul was a Roman Catholic.
No, he wasn't Roman Catholic. I understand your point, but he wasn't Roman Catholic. The Roman Catholic, the whole church, the organization itself, you're talking late second and early third century. The Roman Catholic doctrine is a completely different doctrine, and Paul did not uh, push the Roman Catholicism, because Paul still honored the feast days. Paul still taught on the Shabbat, according to Acts chapter 13. That's something the Roman Catholic Church does not embrace. They embrace Sunday worship versus honoring Shabbat. And Paul made it clear that he honored the feast days. You'll see that in 1 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 7, when Paul made it clear that, hey, when he was dealing with the leaven in the heart, and he said, hey, let us honor the feast. And he was dealing with Passover. So, but nevertheless, really appreciate it, man, and appreciate you jumping on. And anytime when we open up the mic, jump on. I love having these discussions, and maybe we can have a more detailed discussion on this. But I really appreciate you jumping on, because we got some others that are in the background here. But really appreciate you, Mike. Thank you
Thank
again for
you.
jumping on.
Thank you, and God bless, Pastor.
All right, likewise. All right, Sister Michelle, I want to say peace and blessings to you.
Hey, peace and blessings, Shalom family, and Pastor Kelly. Congratulations on your land. It's been a while since I've been able to get on. I work like crazy, but
I appreciate you being on. Hallelujah.
yeah,
Thank you for following too.
yeah, and I hope maybe I will get, since you all are expanding so much, I'll get to visit one feast day. So I'm hopeful and prayerful for that. You know, my foundational home is Virginia, so I'm trying to get home a little bit more. But to the point of your discussion, you know, the curse is reversed. I think from my perspective, I feel like we have to look at this and maybe dig in even more, you know, in our walk, in our study, in our fasting, as you're saying, is our prayer, all these things. You know, it's easy to get caught up in sort of the um I don't want to say fleshly aspect of it, but and nobody rejoices over what happened to this woman. Nobody does. Not if you're not in your right mind, you don't. But
Absolutely.
but I do think that there has been a trickle effect of sort of what our experiences have been in this nation, and it is starting to trickle. Now we're starting to see rain, and then yeah, we're going to see a storm here pretty soon, where you know, these other nations are feeling some of the pain that we have had to endure, we've had to navigate, we've had to press through. And no, they're not going to know how to handle it. They're just not. You know, and so our strength, you know, is what we'll have to press on, press deeper into. And the remnant will have to get better at being the remnant. You know, but I think it's interesting because it's not only this situation, you know, it's of course the shooting, or excuse me, the I guess you can say shooting, I don't know, on YouTube, I'm sorry, but the unaliving of, you know, a very prominent anti-black speaker last year at a very strange time, you know, in our dates. And then also, I don't know if you're aware, but there's some other very anti-black voices out there, both being paralyzed within the first week, I think, or last month of December and January, you know. So PragerU, their CEO or president, and then that cartoonist, I just can't think of his name, that went on this very anti-black rant. So I think, you know, it's easy to kind of look at that and say, okay, yeah, look at God, you know, really rallying to shut down these voices, shut down and really show his power. And I absolutely think that's true. But I don't know that we want to get too comfortable thinking that we don't need to continue to do the work, right? Yeah, we can marvel at his goodness and at his justice, because to me it's all just justice. But we still do have to work in this on this path and on this walk, and dig in, because we have family. You know, we have all these other things. We can't get distracted, you know, by what we know is going to come for our good. So in some ways, you know, I just think we have to press in on both directions, I guess was my point.
And you're absolutely correct. Before I say anything, Brian Scholar, anything you want to say in regards to what was just shared?
No, I was listening to the young lady and what she was saying, and she's right. We need to press in, and those things are, you know, she's correct on those answers. But you know, as watchmen for our people, we also we need to press in with prayer and caution, but we also be alert, because like you said, things are going to ramp up. We're going to see a lot of things happen. We're going to see a lot of more things happen. This is just the start. These things, this thing we see, that's just the start. I'm afraid that it's going to get a lot worse than this.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the thing, and I totally agree with. You know, we have to still function, right?
Right.
And many will quote, what's that, Isaiah 40 verse 31. Many will quote this verse, and I'll read it here. I thought I just had it here. But they that wait upon Yahweh shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint. you know, and we think that waiting on the Father means that we don't function.
Exactly.
We still have to function. You know, let's just say if he doesn't return for another 60 years or 70 years, we still have to live. We still have to function in the meantime. If you know, and I mean he could come tomorrow. He could come tonight. That's the thing. We just don't know. So we still have to function. We still have to do the work. We still have to show up. You know what I mean?
Right.
Until
Right.
that happens. And great point. We have to function. And that's the thing when you start thinking about going back to that term, flooding the zone, you know, stirring, you know, kind of like that that organized confusion. When you read Daniel chapter 7, and you get down to verse 23, 24, and 25, it gives you the playbook of exactly what the enemy is doing. You know, how the enemy has made it a point to uh manipulate that fourth beast, to manipulate things, alter things, change laws and things around us to wear out the people of Yah. In other words,
Yes.
to make us to where as though we're not good for anything. And I'm not sure about you guys, but I'm sure you came home from work before and you were just totally exhausted and you really wasn't good for anyone. You know what I mean? You wasn't good. You know, you couldn't do anything because of just being exhausted. I know I was feeling like that for the past couple of days. I was like, I'm not doing any lives. I'm just going I'm just going to sit in my little man cave and and I'm just going to let the television watch me, because I
Mm.
was so worn out. But that's just from, doing day-to-day stuff and things along that line. But think about on a larger scale of constantly fighting one situation after another
Mm.
to where kind of like what's his name? Wile E. Coyote. I like to use this analogy. When he's trying to keep the dam from bursting, and so he put a plug here, put a plug there, put a plug there. He runs out of plugs, so then he put a finger over here, put a finger over here, he put a toe over here, put a toe over here, and now guess what? He just don't have any more.
You
And
can't
what ends
stretch
up
yourself.
happening,
It's
the
stressed
dam just
thin.
exactly. So he's stretched thin. He has no more, nothing else he can do, and then eventually what? That dam burst. So I believe that's the same playbook that is happening right now to make it so that way that dam bursts, and we just get completely worn out and say, you know what, like Brother Mike pointed out, you know what? I'm not going to pray anymore. Prayer, it doesn't matter because things are going to happen the way it's going to happen. I'm not going to fast anymore because I'm still going through, I'm still dealing with these certain situations and circumstances. I'm not going to connect with my brothers and sisters. I'm going to isolate myself because I just don't trust anybody and I don't see the benefits of me communicating and being in fellowship with other people. You see what I mean? It's like one thing after another, and before you know it, we would do exactly what predators want us to do: isolate ourselves.
Right.
When you look at the wild kingdom, lions prey on those that get away from the pack. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So if we have to stay connected, we have to, regardless of what's going on, we have to endure this hardship as good soldiers, as the people of the Most High. We just cannot give in. I know I said
I'm
a
glad.
mouthful. Go ahead,
I'm
brother.
glad you brought that scripture up about waiting on the Most High, because when that I heard my mentor when I was in college, he brought a good analogy that Abraham was given instruction by the Most High to sacrifice his son. So he didn't sit there and just wait to see I wonder he's gonna make me do this. He went and followed instruction all the way to the point that he took his hand up to do the sacrifice, but the Most High came through. That whole process was him waiting. But he was in movement. He had actions, and we can't sit still.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
got to follow out with the last thing he told us to do. And what he told us to do is to be the light, to be the watchman. When things like this happen, we got to be aware what we need to do. What plans? And like you said, we're not going out marching and anything like that, but we need to know what we're seeing.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And going back to the responsibilities of a watchman, absolutely, absolutely. Anything else, Sister Michelle? Really appreciate you jumping on. Anything else? I know we said a
Yeah.
mouthful.
Yeah, well, it's all very good. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think that it's going to be easier to isolate yourself because you need to be able to manage what you're absorbing as well, right? So it's going to be easier to feel the need to do that. But I do think we need to be disciplined in how we communicate, especially with the gathering. How we actually are managing conversations like these and pinpointing those strategies for your own clan and nation, our own individual families. But, these are real conversations that we need to spread even amongst our families. I had to, just have a conversation with my son. Yeah, of course I knew about what happened to this woman. But, my son, come over to visit and was asking me about it. I was like, yeah. And, you just make sure, that you and your brother, are just being calm and still and really grasping and holding on, and standing and seeking out the Holy Spirit, the Spirit of the Most High, because you're not going to make it through these times without it. And that I'm a little preachy, with my sons. I try to be just a quiet counselor. I do, and I will ask that you all pray for my sons. I'm expected before I leave this earth, and hoping before I leave this earth that they will be leading me in this path. So these are just things that we're having to constantly absorb and filter out with righteousness and with the right counsel. Not just to our families, but even to people that may, try to lay these things at our feet. But I appreciate you addressing this. This is most important for us to really cycle through. And, just all the best to you, Pastor Kelly. If I don't, and you too, Berean Scholar, if I don't talk to you again, I hope to talk to you at some point to come visit. But all the best to you.
Absolutely. And you have the email address, right? And I would say if
I
you have
do. I think I've tried to email you, but I wasn't sure if you've even got it. But I'll try again, just to kind of send you a test email.
Okay.
And then if you when you do get it's coming, it will have my name on it, but that way, even if you can just shoot me back the address, just so that I know where you're at, so that if I can just pop up, I'll just come visit one Saturday.
That'd be great. That'd be
All
great.
right.
Looking forward.
All
All
right.
right.
Good night, gentlemen.
All right. Good night. Good night. And we have Sister Carol in the building.
Shalom, brothers.
Shalom,
Sister.
sis. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well, and all considering. Interesting discussions tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I figured, have a little open mic here, and I guess now once you open up the mic, how in the chat normally people have a lot to say, right? and then
Oh, yes,
then when you
they
put the mic
do.
out there, it's like,
I put the warning out there to them all, and to let them know that I'm going to be knocking you out.
I've already knocked out two.
So and whoever is messing with Mike Guyver, come deal with me. I got his back. Leave him alone. You mess with him, I'm blocking you. Leave him alone.
Yeah, family. Let's not be petty, man. You know what I mean? Again, let's not get caught up in the weeds, and that's why I say, prefacing, this discussion tonight, let's not get caught up in all that other that's how can I
That
put it, that
That
noise,
Edomite
you know what I mean?
foolishness. Yes. Leave the
It's
Edomite foolishness alone.
I can imagine Paul sitting in the synagogue, sitting in the place of meeting on the Sabbath teaching, and Greeks come in, and one of the other Israelites say, "He's an Israelite."
Yeah.
If they came in to hear what he had to say, he would still preach.
Exactly.
So
well, what gets me is, I use this all the time, especially when I deal with the prophecies, the four beasts, right, in Daniel. is the fact that it says that they was going to go at the three kings, and the three kings are the northern kingdom, king of the northern kingdom, king of the southern kingdom, and the king of the Edomites.
Mhm.
Right.
And at that time, all three had to come together because there was a threat that didn't care about their differences.
Right.
And that's sometimes we can get into the weeds, with certain things, but there's a bigger threat. For example, this government don't care about our differences. I mean, look at what we just saw happen.
Right.
And we've expressed it here. We've had these discussions, making it clear. Billionaires, when you start getting into that class, many of them are racist. We know this. But guess what? When it's all said and done, it's all about money.
Exactly.
Right.
They'll look at those that are in lower classes as being collateral damage.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So family, let's again, as Sister Carol pointed out, let's not let our good, as Christ even talks, not Christ, but Paul mentions, don't let our good be spoken in an evil manner. So let's
Amen.
let's be the set apart that we are supposed to be, that we are required to be. So Sister Carol, what's your thoughts on what's going on with the situation?
Well, I finally watched it today. I saw some videos on it. My thing is this: it doesn't matter what color she was. Doesn't matter what ethnicity she was. Doesn't matter if she was a female. She could have easily been a man. What they did was wrong. Period.
Absolutely.
Case closed. Um, there was some ICE people here in Houston. That's not too far from my house. That was identified standing on the corner, in their gear, in our neighborhood, all black neighborhood, just looking for trouble. And I do believe that's what they're doing. They're aggravating and provoking to make us come after them so they can do just that.
Exactly.
I saw another video earlier today with some Somalians. They were in a parking lot on, it's like some strip center somewhere, and it was a group of ICE in the parking lot. Except these Somalians was rushing them off. They told them they were citizens, get out of here, kept pushing away, and they kept pushing them, and finally they left them alone. You have to have some type of understanding and discernment of yourself and what you're dealing with when you're dealing with these people. Because you have to remember, they have been awarded to do whatever they want to do, and they are fully immune to anything that they do. So there's no kind of justice coming toward them.
That's right.
They already made that clear to everybody that they have full authority to do whatever they want above the police. They have more authority than the police. I saw some police chief was talking about them on a press conference. But we have to have some kind of discernment of ourselves when you're dealing with these people to not get yourself caught up in a situation where you can end up like she did.
Sis, I'm glad you brought that up because we have, as a community, we have hundreds of years of understanding the do's and don'ts. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Right.
We have hundreds of years, and we handed that down right over the generations, right?
Right.
Hey, when you are dealing with law enforcement, do X, Y, and Z.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Right.
When, if you're moving, for example, if you're in your car, if you need to, every movement, you bring it to the officer's attention. If you need to get something out of the glove compartment, officer, my yada, yada, yada is inside the glove compartment.
Correct.
I'm not going to move my hand until you give me the okay to move it.
That's right.
You know what I
And I
mean?
exactly, and I'm victim of that because I remember it was a few years back. I was still living in Atlanta, and I drove back here to Houston to get my car registered and drive it back to Atlanta, and I got pulled over in Beaumont because it was traffic and these people was for speeding, and I got caught up in the traffic. So it was a motorcycle cop, a task force. Actually, wasn't even supposed to be in this area. He's got put over there because they were short of police officers, but he caught me, got me. So we pulled off the freeway. This was right after I'm trying to remember somebody had got shot down by a police officer, like within a few days prior to this happening to me. We pulled over. So the nerves came on my body. So I had to think methodically. Okay, we're going to the parking lot, open area, so full view in case something go down. So I'm in the car trying to think about, trying to get all my stuff together so I can get in my purse. So I just look at my purse where it is strategically. And in the middle of doing that, I broke the knob off my radio, not thinking I could turn the volume down on my steering wheel because my nerves had taken over. He saw I was nervous when he came up to the window. He grabbed my hands and he put it on the window sill and he said, "Listen, calm down. Take a deep breath. Calm down. You did nothing wrong. I'm not going to harm you." He felt my discernment and I felt his discernment. But it was the anxiety of the fear of what I had in my brain from a few days ago of what happened to someone else being murdered by a police officer triggered me. And I think that's the deal was going on now. We're triggered by so much that's being flashed to us. Now, to this young lady's detriment, and I'm going to say this, she thought because the color of her skin that she can do what she was doing and get away with it because, let's be realistic, it happens all the time. They can say things police officers we can't do, and they don't bother them. In fact, police officers back up and leave them alone. But this wasn't the situation. It's a different spirit walking around on the streets now. And it doesn't matter who it is. Their responsibility is to take us down, no matter what. They don't care about who you are, who you're connected to, your race, your gender. They do not care. If you're the target for the day, they're coming for you. But we have to have some thought process strategically to understand what you're dealing with and act accordingly to protect yourself. Remember, you're trying to get home. You're trying to still be a citizen and a live, living citizen, not a shut down, ground, dead citizen, because you're trying to prove to these people who you are because they don't care.
And you hit it on the nail. And unfortunately, even when we deal with the ICE, even though they were given um, a lot of authority, a lot of power, but
Mm-hmm.
they still don't have free range. In
Yeah,
terms of
right,
even with traffic, they
right.
really not authorized
No,
to do traffic stops.
no,
You know what I mean? And even with going back to this guy, you could see that these guys don't have any kind of training.
no, they
You
don't.
know, in family, that's why I say don't get caught up in what how propaganda is trying to get you to view those videos, because when you look at his whole this person, how he handled everything, he had a gun in one hand and the phone in the other. What you heard was not him being hit by the car. What you heard was his phone in his hand.
Right.
It wasn't, trust me, if he got hit by the car, you know what this administration would have did? They would have posted that information.
Mm-hmm.
But you didn't see him get hit by the car. But again, to your point, and this is what we're seeing now, we used to it. And I want to make sure everyone understand, we used to it.
Yeah.
We used to getting profiled. We used to being disrespected. Like what you just shared. I mean, Berean Scholar, sure, he got a number of stories as well. We all got stories, I mean, I got my first time, getting pulled over by cops in high school, coming from a all-star game and cops pull their guns out on us.
Right.
You know, we had to put our hands on the ceiling of the car. You know what I mean? They pulled the clips and everything, pulled the guns out, and you know, I mean, that's like the norm. I've seen cops actually rob people,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
do all kinds of crazy stuff. So we're used to it. It's just that,
Right.
as you pointed out, they are not used to it.
Right. No. This is a
And,
different territory for them.
and one last point I'll make this for those that may not know this: when you start dealing with a lot of these extreme groups, go back to slavery. The two individuals that had the least amount of rights, believe it or not, was, and you'll see them on a lot of statues of like the Baphomet, the black boy and the white girl. During slavery, the white woman didn't vote. During slavery, the white woman was getting beat. It was legal for them to beat them.
Yes.
So the only benefits that they had was child support. Child support wasn't created for our community. It was created for their community to protect that so that way those men could still give something to be held accountable.
That's right.
So when you look at it, and to your point, Sister Carol, many of these people, they fail to understand history. And when you start dealing with these extreme groups, now that is part of the ICE group,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
they don't care. You
No.
saw how they treat, especially if they're gay,
Yes.
because they're gay. They
That
made
part.
it clear.
Right.
So you already know a lot of these extreme groups that was there for January 6th are part of this system. You got to be smart. We already know what comes with the territory. You know, if I see them, you know what I'm saying? Guess what? I'm going to be smart about it.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
So we know how to carry ourselves. We know what to do.
Every
And like you
single
said,
day.
you had that anxiety. That's not something, not the anxiety that you have because you did something wrong. It's
No.
something that was what handed down through generations
That's
of
right.
oppressions.
It was
And we,
survival.
that's
Yes.
right. And
So
we do that every single day when we leave this house and get in the car. That's the
Yep.
first thing come on my mind. Okay, where the police are going to be today. I have to be conscious. That's in the back of our brain the whole entire time. It goes from the back and it comes to the frontal part. When you get on the street, especially when you're on the freeway, I'm constantly looking. I'm keeping I keep Waze on to let me know where the police officers are for that purpose. And when you see one, automatic anxiety comes over your body. It's automatic because you want to make sure you straight. Am I straight? Am I good? Until he passes by or whatever he's doing, then you release that anxiety. It's just innately in us.
exactly, especially when they pull up behind you.
Oh
Oh
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
oh yeah, they
I
pull up
mean,
behind you. It's something else.
absolutely. And so, family, just so you know, as I pulled out Deuteronomy 30, there's other passages, but these are things that these people, this country and other countries, going to have to be held accountable for.
Right.
Look at this stuff right here. This is not something that happened 500-600 years ago. Some of this stuff is still happening.
Sure is.
We're still getting lynched.
Now they
We are
calling it.
still getting lynched, family. Let me zoom this in so you guys can see this on your screen, fam. This lady right here, I don't know if you guys can see my mouse. This lady right here, for those that may not understand and know what's going on, she was lynched, her and her son. And the full postcards, because these are postcards, her and her son was like 13 years old. They got accused of stealing food. Well, her husband got accused of stealing food. So what did they do? They raped both of them. They raped her son first. And there's a bridge, and you see at least 40 of them on a bridge. They sodomized her son. Sodomized him in front of her. then hung her. After doing that to her, doing that to him, then they came over to her and did the same with her. And let me see if I had a photo here. Let me see here. I may have to bring it in because I still got a lot of these photos, and it just makes you upset, man, when you see this. I'm gonna bring that photo in. I'm gonna look on my computer here. And family, you'll notice, and it's blurred out, but you'll see his pants are down at his waist. At his ankles. Many of our people that was being lynched at that time, they were being sodomized, they were being raped. That's all part of the lynching process. Being hanged, that's kind of like almost like the easy part of it.
Right.
That's like the way out. But the brutality that led to that. And this was a regular thing. Matter of fact, I think I have one of the postcards here. Look at this guy right here. Can you guys see it?
Yes. Actually, the hanging is the finale.
Exactly.
When they're finished and done with you.
When they finish.
Yep.
They were raping, they were sodomizing our people. They were performing satanic rituals.
Exactly.
They were performing satanic rituals, eating. They were doing cannibalism. Let's go back here, family. This is what they were doing. Let's go back to here. So you guys can make sure your screen is good as far as those that are watching. Yeah, look at that. But yet we're the ones that are told, get over it.
Mm-hmm.
Say that to a 1948er.
And what did JD Vance say?
Didn't he say something crazy today?
I think he did. Yeah, he did.
I can't remember exact quotes, but I remember hearing what he said, but I can't remember exactly as far as the quote.
Well, he said, white men, you no longer have to apologize.
Oh, yeah. That was what, a few weeks ago.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago, yeah.
Yeah.
When he came out and demonized the woman, he did say that she was a far leftist.
Yes, she's a leftist.
Part of a professional leftist agitator.
Yes.
Well, see, that's the terms that they're using now.
Yeah.
Notice what they leftist, agitator, like what Trump was saying.
It's
initially said he called her a terrorist, called her a domestic terrorist. Now it's like she's an agitator.
Yes. I suppose she had a MAGA hat on her head, and she did that.
Well, they'll say that her ideology changed in a week, and now she did like they did
She's
the other
been radicalized.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly.
Who had a picture with his shirt on and everything, and had proof that he gave to his campaign. But now we know we're talking about the person who's on trial for that incident in Utah.
Let's see. I'm trying to get that. We get that postcard. I'm terrible.
Pastor, you bring these pictures up. I know they flagged your channel up by the video, so I'm not gonna bring the video up. But we have to keep in mind, Israel, this is not something from the past. Just like you said, Jim Crow didn't end to the early 70s.
That's right.
70s. I was born in 66. I don't care, you know how I am, but I lived in. I was born in the last part of Jim Crow,
and I was born in the middle of. I was born in 62.
So that stuff they people to get over it. No, we had to live through this.
Brian Scholar was born when Jim Crow was still an egg.
Right. And I was there writing it, and I was there with Jim Crow when he was writing it.
With Jim Crow was a egg. Okay. Okay. But our people have seen this stuff and been through. And
Yes.
I shared earlier that 10-page long of incidents happening. But in like you brought to my account, there's many more stuff I didn't put on that page. I didn't put all the cities that were drowned and were attacked because they was thriving. I didn't put it on the lynching, the thousand and thousand lynchings that wasn't on that page. But yeah, it was 10 pages full of incidents, people whose lives was taken.
Absolutely, absolutely. I brought Yaquaba in. Yaquaba, you guys could get into discussion. I'm gonna try to get this postcard. I'm trying to locate it now. But what's your thoughts, Yaquaba, with what's going on?
Well, I was saying that I thought about how Messiah was treated. How when he was hung, not one bone in his body was broken. And when our ancestors in America was being crucified, they would move, amputate them, essay them and amputate them. And I was wondering, like what Daniel saw, he said this dragon is worse. It's gonna be worse than the Iron King. And that made me think, like, I struggle with this saying, I know that y'all suffered. He suffered, his face was marred beyond all recognition. But when I think about this stuff right here, it really put me in the mind, and I have to really meditate and ask y'all about this.
Mm.
I think this goes back to the Talmud rituals. Because in their book, it discusses this type of stuff and what they can do. Because remember, we weren't viewed to be human, we're beast. And they treated us as such. And people seem to have forgotten these people have families and descendants. There's some of them still living today on both spectrums. The ones who did these atrocities and our people who atrocities were done too. And that spirit is still on the air on both sides.
Look, they still got the souvenirs. They still have trophies
Yes.
inside their
Yes.
homes.
Absolutely. It's passed down.
A lot of people, they think that it ain't really bad, but I want to say this if I can, that from the age of 17, I don't know if y'all heard about them psychiatric people, but they came out, I think, in the 1950s, and they was doing experiments on people, and they did it to the protect the European community, and I guess they had a big outcry about that, and they say they shut it down, but when I was 17, they put me in there. I didn't know where I was, and I was so afraid. I was 17 until I urinated on myself, and they was in there laughing and mocking. And I remember I didn't hear anything, but I was trapped in this the first time that I've been trapped by people that I thought was doctors, and they told me I got to go in a room and take off my clothes and put on this robe, but I didn't do that. I just stood in there. They gave me some shorts I never saw before and a shirt, and I had to go in there, and it's just a full emasculating process. I saw a little Israelite girl. I didn't know she was an Israelite. She was in the padded room in there crying. They had turned the lights off, mocking her, laugh as they walked by. But when the parents come, everybody act kind. And when they give you that Thorazine or whatever that is, it causes your mind to start. You start hearing blasphemous voices that'll make you, if you wasn't raised in our community where you think that if you kill yourself, you go into the lake, a lot of people would have took themselves out. And I remember sitting in there looking at them laugh as people scratched the ground. I was one of them scratching the ground. and there's no escape for that. And I felt like growing up, if your mind go bad, that means you got a devil. Because I was raised in the church where they say we casting the devil out. So it was a lot going on, and then when you come home, nobody believes you. They think that you stupid. And so when I saw Ye going through his situation, it brought me back to me. I say, look, I know what they're doing. They're discrediting him. They're trying to make it look like he dumb, he's stupid. So everything he say to be a joke. If the man try to make music and say and sing straight Bible verses, people will to look at it and don't want to take him too serious. You know what I'm saying? So it's to a point where it discredits you. And one more thing I want to say that there's a Ashkenaz that got a TV show on TBN. He was giving his testimony and saying how uh, his family put him in there to get him to denounce Messiah, and how the stuff he said he was going through it. I say, man, I've been through that. And so it just brought me back. You know, when I see stuff like this, people don't understand. Thank you, Yahweh, for your mind. Because if your mind gone, ooh, you feel like you're on hell on earth. And people don't understand, like that movie that came out back then, Tales from the Hood. How you feel like one day you're going to open up your eyes and you say, welcome to hell. That's how I feel.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Appreciate you sharing that, man. It's a lot to unpack. A lot to unpack. So much is
Hmm.
going on, and yeah, with the MK Ultra stuff that they've done, and when you study that, they created hundreds of programs that's connected to that. But man, just really appreciate you being transparent and
Mm-hmm.
sharing your testimony. Lot to unpack out of that. But let me see. I did find the picture here. Let me see here. I was trying to find the main picture, but I do have the picture. Let me go here. Let's see here. Now, family, these are children right here, women, young women right here, young girls. These are teenagers here, all three of them. This is a Gatling gun that was used with the Elaine massacre. They brought in the military. This wasn't just Tulsa. These are actual images of military being used, weapons and everything, to bomb many of our communities. This right here, oh, that's the same one. That's more images of it. But this right here, right? And I got another one. I can't find the other one, but I'm gonna zoom in uh, here, and you can see his pants down to his waist. Can you guys see that?
Yep.
Yes.
Hanging off his feet.
Right? Look at all these men. You got some women here, but they participated in this lynching.
This was 1911.
Yeah. Yeah. This is a postcard. You see the writing there? These are, for those that are watching, these are not postcards right here, but let me go back here. Postcard. Postcard. Look at the writing at the bottom of here. There's accountability that's going to happen. Look at this. This is the barbecue we had last night. My picture is to the left with a cross over it. Your son, Joe.
Pastor, I was reading an article on that postcard right there you just read, and after that postcard was broadcast, the postal office said that they had to stop those post office going through, but it didn't stop. They just put them in envelopes.
Yeah,
they would just send them through out of envelopes before the end.
And they still haven't returned. It still has not repented.
In family, they were eating our people. That were eating our people. Knows what they called it a barbecue.
Yep. Or a picnic. what that real term
These are
means.
real, family. These are real. I have books on this with actual pictures, treating us like game, like they just came in from a hunt here. Accountability. Look at this. Accountability. You know. Oh, let me show you this here. And this is why, for those that may not understand fully, no, we need to come out of religion, family, because religion was at the forefront. This is in the 60s. You had our people coming out having to make in their marches saying that I am a man, I am human. I didn't. I was looking for some of my other church. Images here. Assembly of God. Reverend W.T. Miller.
Wow.
You didn't catch that.
I know you. Look at that.
Oh man.
You thought I was joking, right?
There it
Man.
is. Yeah.
Come on, family. Assembly of God. Look at what they say here. And we got our people all up in the assemblies of God.
Yep.
This church is the key to Morningside. We do not welcome the colored. Got more pictures. I just have to, bring them in. But accountability, family. And now, and I'm not going to quote Jeremiah Rice, because they on his channel, but he quoted Malcolm X. But I'm just going to say there's an accountability that's going to take place.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do all this stuff and think that nothing is going to happen to you. To think that you could just keep going on about your business, yet you treated our people the way that you treated and still treat us. This the spirit, man. This is a foul spirit, man. And what we see, starting with this administration, but guess what? It wasn't just this administration. He's just doing this stuff out loud now. Now, here's JD Vance. This is JD Vance right here. You see what it says there? We are white, civil rights.
Civil rights.
So anything that was a struggle for us, they always had something for it.
Yep.
So they were trying to victimize the perpetrators here, just like what they're trying to do today, as Sister Carol may pointed out with white men.
President Wilson was a strong advocate for the Klan.
Oh yeah.
And he allowed the Klan to come to the White House. And they marched the streets of Washington. He played the film, what's the name of it?
Birth of a Nation.
Um,
Birth of a Nation.
the name of that quick head on the tip of my tongue. In fact, it was a remake that was made of it.
Yeah, it was the Birth of a Nation.
By another black actor who got blackballed after the movie because they didn't want the movie shown.
Yeah, Birth of a Nation.
Yes. Yeah, Birth of a Nation. Yes, it. And but it was during this time period. 1911, 1912, all the way through 18. That perpetuated all of this. All the way up to today. Now, mind you now, we were talking about earlier with Jim Crow, when they were being forced to take all that, their paraphernalia down in the stores and streets whenever they had it, that whites only, colored over here, whatever. That mindset didn't leave because they took down the signs. That mindset stayed throughout the 70s, throughout the 80s, throughout the 90s, throughout the 2000s. It got a mask put on it, but it's still there. And it was taught to their children. The same mentality. Never left. Still don't want you there. We don't want you in the neighborhood. Well, you'll come to the neighborhood? Okay, we'll up and leave. Go build another house, another neighborhood. You want to buy this car? Well, we're going to mark it up. You want this job? Okay. Let's see if you get it. If I do give it to you and put somebody over you that you have to deal with.
That reminds me of the young lady that gave her
That is
testimony
still in
last.
the air. And now they got a wonderful weapon to get us with. And we're falling for it. That's artificial intelligence.
Yeah, I'm sitting there trying to find this photo.
Can you hear me, Pastor?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
You mean, okay.
Because
That's a new tool.
Go ahead, Berean Scholar.
I can't hear him.
They are saying this about this young lady, but you
Jimmy Bird
know,
messing with us again?
Oh, you can't hear Berean Scholar, Sister Carol?
No, I can't hear him at all.
wow, they messed me in.
Wow.
Like I said, they got the guys that they talk about the young lady that was shot in Minnesota, but you know, it was 2 people shot in Portland.
That is absolutely crazy how it does that. I can't hear him at all. He's still talking?
Yeah, he's talking right now, sis.
Okay.
Do you remember hearing that, Pastor? It was 2 people shot in Portland by the ICE.
Yeah. That just happened.
That happened the day before this woman got shot.
Yeah.
And also 2 days before that, nobody said it. I got a news article for you, right? This about her. That's another person was shot by ICE in LA. But nobody said anything about this one. And guess what his complexion was?
And what was he? A white guy?
Nope. He was an Israelite.
Okay.
I pulled it up for you.
I'll bring it up here. Let me show you guys one more thing here. Let me see here. What was he? A white guy?
Nope. He was an Israelite.
Right? Klan having a party here.
Got
his hair
lynching, and got the souvenir here. They got hair in this one. Look at this. Bo points to his. Look at what they put there. The N word. So that must be Bo right there pointing to. It says Bo points to his N word, and that must be Bo pointing.
We got a name.
You see the Klan there?
Mm-hmm. Joplin, Mississippi.
Yeah, that's O.
What year?
That's Missouri.
Let's see here.
Joplin, Missouri.
All right, Berean Scholar, you got the.
Okay.
Remembering a man who was shot and killed by an off-duty ICE agent on New Year's Eve. Authorities say the agent opened fire.
Hold up, pause 1 second. Sister Carrie, can you hear that?
I'm listening to him on TV.
Okay. Go ahead, Berean Scholar.
Activists are demanding answers and justice. Friends say Keith Porter was celebrating New Year's Eve when he was shot and killed.
But it looks like he may have been celebrating with a gun. Eyewitness News reporter Tim Pullian spoke with friends and family attending a vigil tonight, and they're now looking for answers.
We're here off Amestoy Avenue, close to where Keith Porter was gunned down by that off-duty ICE agent. This memorial is here for family, friends to mourn. This song, meant to uplift, only lowered the mood as this crowd grieves the death of a 43-year-old father of two. Keith Porter was shot and killed New Year's Eve by an off-duty ICE agent. What would you like to say to the ICE agent if you had the chance?
If I could say anything to the ICE agent, is that you're a murderer. You stole my cousin from me. You stole their father from them. You stole a black man off the planet that God ordained to live and thrive. You stole a human life and you need to pay for it.
According to the Department of Homeland Security, the off-duty ICE agent heard gunfire near his apartment and went to check it out. That's when DHS says the officer encountered Porter holding a long rifle. Advocates say Porter was observing the holiday that night with gunfire.
You don't get to just murder people because you don't like what they're doing or how they're celebrating.
But the agent allegedly ordered Porter to put down the weapon. And when he didn't comply, DHS says the off-duty officer fired his service gun. The agency claims Porter fired 3 rounds at the officer before he was killed.
This is sad. This is sad.
Been here 35 years. This is the first time that such a thing ever happened in my community.
As the LAPD investigates what led up to the shooting, the community want witnesses to come forward and the ICE agent identified, arrested, and prosecuted for killing the man they say was kind.
So I thank you. I thank you for my life.
Black Lives Matter Los Angeles organized this vigil. They are demanding accountability from District Attorney Nathan Hochman. In fact, they are having a community meeting with him on Monday in Northridge. Tim Pulliam, ABC 7, Eyewitness News.
Wow.
And family, let me play something here. Let me share this screen here. Appreciate it, Brian Scholar. Let me share something with you. What I pointed out about how the playbook to demonize the victim. You know, starting with our community. Let me share this here. Oops, where is it? All right, let's see here. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Now, this article is from October 28, 2014. And I used this article a while back when I was, dealing with lynching and all that other stuff. But look at what it says here. Media often depicts Black youth as criminals and rarely as heroes. Let's go down here. Right. Let's see. I'll just read a little bit of this. A colleague of mine shared a story about observing an elementary school teacher talking about some Black boys in her class about a book they were reading. The topic of the conversation was, is it better to be loved or feared? These young boys not only could relate to this question, these boys not only could relate to this question, but they engaged in a vigorous debate about it. My colleague, who is white, said that she posed that question to her own children, they were baffled by it and couldn't grasp why anyone would even entertain such a seemingly contradictory notion. The fact that Black students could jump right into an animated conversation about the merits of being feared, they understood this is an identity option, shows just how deeply ingrained negative stereotypes about Black males are and how kids are attuned to them. And let me scroll down here. Man, I don't like when they have all these pop-ups.
Yeah.
Yeah, they ain't put the whole. Yeah, I have to go look at this on way back. They
took it off.
Yeah, they modified this article because it had it was showing different comparisons of, like, for example, Mike Brown versus the shooter out in Ohio, how Mike Brown was demonized, right, as a victim, but the shooter that shot up a movie theater, they were coming up with excuses. Or, like, remember
Yeah.
the shooting in Las Vegas, how they were saying, hey, such and such was the family was shocked that and surprised that he was a good person and he was on medication. Yeah, they changed this, man. Yeah, they changed this. This is not the original article. Which I'm not surprised now the way things are going. And I think this was sold. Let's see here. Yeah. Yeah. Oh well. Oh well. But yeah, guys, any other things you guys want to share tonight before we wrap up? I thought
I
we would
got,
have more people jumping in off the chat, but I guess they were like,
I got that one from Portland for you
I
too.
shut him down, I guess.
"What's that, Marine Scholar?"
I got that one from Portland. The two people there, because she got shot in Portland. The date, same day.
Yeah, yeah. I that one I heard about that one. Let me pull it up here though. Uh,
All shaken and outraged by another terrible, unnecessary, violent event instigated by the reckless agenda of the Trump administration.
Tonight, we're following the big story of the day. Portland police say 2 people were shot and injured by a federal agent in southeast Portland. The shooting involving U.S. Border Patrol agents. The 2 people shot were taken to the hospital. We still do not know much about their conditions. The Department of Homeland Security says the Venezuelan man had ties to Tren de Aragua and was involved in a recent shooting in Portland. Good evening. Thanks for joining us for K2 News at 11. I'm Deborah Knapp. And tonight we have live team coverage. K2's Victor Park is at Southeast 102nd and Main. That's where the shooting happened. Jennifer Singh is at Northeast 146th and Burnside. That's where the 2 people shot were later discovered. And Guillermo Mota is in South Portland near the ICE facility. But first, we want to share new audio from moments after the shooting.
See your discretion, police are en route. It looks like caller saying that he was shot twice by ICE and his wife was shot as well. Your top group is going to be off 1 Engine 7 with Medic 314 and Medic 321 with police en route. This will be a shooting at the Bria Apartments, 10 Northeast 146th Avenue. They have a male who was shot twice in the arm and his wife who was shot in the chest. Your top group is going to be off 1. Stand by for additional dispatch.
Well, tonight the investigation remains active, spanning multiple areas in East Portland's Hazelwood neighborhood. So here's the map that you see on your screen showing you the 2 locations, highlighting the 2 scenes. One at Southeast 102nd and Main. That's where the shooting happened, right near Adventist Medical Clinic. And the other, the apartment complex where the 2 were found, was East Burnside and 146. Let's start now with Guillermo Mota, who's live near the ICE facility in South Portland. So Guillermo, what's happening now behind you?
Deb, things have dwindled down a lot within the last 2 to 3 hours. I'm just going to give you a quick timeline while I step out of the camera. So about 3 hours ago when we got here, there was a mass group of people taking over the street, kind of blocking the street a little bit. There was police presence. Some police officers in bikes came in to free the street. They were pushing people onto the sidewalk. That's when 3 people were arrested. We saw at least 3 people get arrested. Since then, people have dispersed. The crowd got smaller. Police officers also left the area. They're a little bit away, like a block away from where we are sitting right now. But at the moment, there's not much going on other than loud music playing. Reminder, this is still a community. There's a building behind us. This is an apartment complex where people live. But so far, it's just shouting matches here and there, people dancing and walking around. So the situation has dwindled down a little bit, a lot more here. There was a car blocking the street about 10 minutes ago. That car has moved away. I don't see it in sight anymore. So definitely a situation that could have been worse, but for the better is now dwindled down and calmed down. So we'll stay put.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And another way that like you said, they made sure they said that he was part of a gang without any evidence,
Mm-hmm.
without any proof. They just said it.
Yeah.
The same
Yeah.
way they said the president was linked to a game, which came out found out that the game that they said he was linked to doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So
Mm. All right. I was looking here. Let me take that out. All right. What happened to my? All right. All right, guys. I think I'm getting past my 2 hour window. I'm starting to get sleepy. Don't want to start mentioning pink hearts, yellow diamonds, blue moons.
imagine it's delicious.
But getting ready to take it down. But any final thoughts before we wrap up?
Be mindful, use discernment, and get home alive with these people in the streets.
Absolutely, absolutely. Brian Scholar, any final words?
For us to understand that we need to be aware of the times we are in the last minutes, and we need to know what's going on around us so we can be able to we wait on the Most High by being diligent at what He tells us to do, and let's make sure we let everybody know who we are and who He is, that we can bring as many people we can with us, because this enemy is increasing in these last times.
Yeah, absolutely. And I didn't even notice there were some super chats here. Daily Repentance, thank you for the love and support. Thank you for all. Thank you. Thank you for all you do. Much appreciated. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Thank you again. And also, Jerry Carroll, really appreciate the love and support over the years. Really appreciate you. And again, thank you for the contributions tonight. And my apologies. Hopefully, you're still on. And my apologies again. Blame Brian Scholar for me not paying attention. I got to blame someone. So you got to take the blame tonight. But really appreciate you, sis. Thank you again. Shalom. All right. With that being said, family, I feel like Forrest Gump, right? He's about to say something. He's getting ready to give a speech. I'm tired. I think I'm gonna go home now.
Get your RC Cola, go
home. But family, really appreciate it. Words of the Most High that He gave to Moses to encourage Israel in Exodus chapter 14, verse 13 to 14. He said to them, "Fear ye not, stand still, see the salvation of Yahweh. These Egyptians that you see here today would not have power over you again. Most High will fight for us." But here's the kicker: we have to hold our peace. Have to hold our peace. Calculated silence. Can't go back. Can't stay here. Keep moving forward. Shalom.
Listen, Genesis chapter 11, verse 10 explains the genealogy of Shem. Shem was a black man in Africa. If you repeat this back, Genesis 14, verse 13, Abraham steps on the scene. Being a descendant of Shem, which is a fact, means Abraham too was black. Abraham, born in the city of a black man, called Nimrod, grandson of Ham. Ham had 4 sons. One was named Canaan. Here, let me do some explaining. Abraham, Isaac was Jacob had 12 sons, for real, and these were the children of Israel. According to Genesis chapter 10, these were the children of Israel. According to Genesis chapter 10.